Hey everybody, it's Wade with Outdoor Therapy. Today we're going to do a little bit of a gear talk. With deer season out of the way, most people are doing one of three things: predator control, thinking about turkey hunting, or shed hunting. I've done a little bit of shed hunting. I've only found 2 so far. Hopefully I get back out there this weekend. Most of them were still holding the last couple times that I went out, but it's been a couple weeks, so we'll see what happens. Alright guys, right back at it. We're going to be doing a little bit of a gear talk here today, and it's going to be all about turkeys, okay? Starting from the bottom up, we're going to be doing a little bit of what you're going to be wearing, what you're going to be using, and what will really bring the turkeys in. Alright guys, first thing I want to talk about is what's going to hold all your calls and stuff and make your life a little bit easier. Now this is a Primos Vest. It has a bunch of different pockets here. This one holds your strikers and that. It's got another pocket right here with the mesh lining on the inside as well. And the straps come back down. It's got a seat with snaps on both sides, so it'll stay up when you're walking. You get to where you're going, you just unsnap it, sit right there on the ground. It's great. On the other side, it's got another spot for your strikers, and it's got 2 spots for your pot calls, for your slates to go, and then another big open bin, same thing, big open zipper, and the mesh on the inside of your vest as well. Very, very simple and very, very organized. So you know where everything is, especially the more you practice with it and the more you wear it as the season goes on, or if you're doing a bunch of different turkey hunts, it'll absolutely come in handy. Next thing I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to get big into camo or anything, but it's very important, is some sort of camo for your face. I wear this specific one right here. It's a half mask because I wear a hat as well to go over the top here, but it has the leaf on it. Anything to break up your face. You're going to be sitting eye level with a turkey that has eyesight like you cannot believe. If you do not feel like wearing a mask, I mean, sometimes it's bothersome, especially with this if it's windy. This can be kind of cumbersome with all the leaves blowing around, but like I say, it's just a half mask. It doesn't really bother me. I'm used to it. On the other hand, you could also do face paint for camo. Very, very helpful. There's all sorts of different styles of masks. You don't have to have the one with the leaves. I got a bunch of mesh ones that do not, in fact, have the leaves, but that's just the one that I prefer. Alright, let's talk about sitting on the ground. Something else that's great for the gun hunters, or if you're using a crossbow even, is a gun knee rest. This bad daddy, all it does is it velcros, or I'm sorry, it doesn't velcro, it snaps right on your knee, so when you have your gun up, you're just resting it right there. Have a nice steady rest for whenever you're ready to shoot. Very, very handy and very, very cheap. Alright, now we're going to talk a little bit about decoys. This here is an AVNX quarter strut Jake. See his little bitty beard here, little Jake. It's collapsible, it's nice and durable, I will say. They're a lot quieter than like a heavy duty, solid plastic, something like that. It's real easy. You just pull this plug, squish it back down, and it's just that simple. The other one that I have for AVNX is a feeder hen. I chose a feeder rather than a lookout. The Jake and a quarter strut, I mean, between the 2 of them out there, they're both doing great. Same thing, it's collapsible, real easy. Just collapse it all the way down. I can fold this completely in half if I wanted to. And it takes about 2 seconds to air back up. See, I can collapse it all the way down if I want to, fold it in half. Durable, it's not going to hurt it a bit. And then as soon as I get ready to use, I just pull that little thing there. And just like that, you have a full-size hen. Great color on these. Very, very lifelike. I mean, I think they're absolutely the top of the line. Can't really beat an AVNX. The other one that I use though is one of Flextone's newer hens. It's one of their newer models, has great color, nice shiny feathers to it, and it's got a stake that actually is mounted on it, tucks right into the tail there. Just boom, pop it right down like that. And it's a little bit like a hard rubber, and it's kind of quieter as well. Same thing, great color, very lifelike. And it's very, very affordable, a little bit cheaper than the AVNX as well. Okay, now we're going to go into some of the calls. Lots of different calls for turkeys. I don't care what part of the states you're in or anything. If you're in a different country trying to hunt turkeys, that's cool. And most of them are very, very universal. And what you'll find is that there's, all these crazy different kinds. You got your box calls, your pot, your slates and strikers. You have all sorts of different locator calls. You got mouth reeds. You got ones that you blow into, just regular mouth calls, and gobblers, all sorts of stuff. And you never know what you're really going to use until you kind of try it out. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Certain people suggest this and other guys say that, and it's all dependent upon you. Find out what works for you, especially in your area. Like I say, most of it's universal all over the place. Turkeys really can go off of a lot of the same calls, so I would find whatever works for you in your area and stick to it. First type of calls we're going to get into are locator calls. Now what I mean by this is ones you're trying to find without blowing a turkey call. You're going to use a locator. Now I have a crow call here, and also I have an owl hooter. And I think these are awesome. This one is not your typical big flute, big hooter that has the real nice big tone to it and everything. This one actually has a wheel in it that spins. You can do what they call like the laugh for an owl, and you could also either use your throat or your tongue to give it a little bit of the flutter to it. Very, very nice call. Crow call, I'm not going to blow it. Pretty self-explanatory, very, very simple. You've all heard crows. Next type of call I'm going to get into is a box call. And this, I think, is probably my favorite, to be honest, just because it has so much different range to it, on a windy day and they're a long ways off or something like that. You could use a box call and they'll get right on it, They'll come gobbling right in, and you can use it just for really any kind of style. You can do real soft, or you can get, loud into it. It's very easy for a beginner if they're not good at it. You're going to be cutting. All sorts of different stuff. Very easy to use. The next ones are your pot calls, where you have slates and strikers. Now same thing here, there's all sorts of different types of slates and strikers. For your pot calls, you could have ones that are glass, ceramic, all sorts of different stuff. The strikers, you might have a wood or carbon fiber striker or some sort of diamond wood, really anything. These are just 4 of them. I've got more of them back here behind me on this shelf. These are just more of the ones that I use. And to be honest with you, probably my favorite ones would be the carbon striker. This is actually called a little deuce double glass call, and it has a lot of real great tone to it. A little bit more raspy than some of the other ones. They're a little softer. It's very easy to call with. It's just that simple. Next thing I'm going to talk about is a gobbler. Now this is new. I have yet to use this one, but I've seen them in action. I went with a couple buddies and they do wonders. It's pretty awesome. I added that to my arsenal this year. Like I say, hey, you hear what everybody else says, see what works for them, maybe what'll work for you, and that right there is going to be one that I'm going to try this year. We'll see what happens. I'll get it on film. Then we had a couple other mouth calls. Now these are made by Flex Tone. I have it's called a Thunder Cluck and Purr is the smaller one, and the bigger one is it's a Thunder something or other. But I got them in a set. They're not bad. This one you just, or you can do like the purr in it. And then this one here, just a bigger yelper. Very easy to use. And last but not least for the calls, most people's favorites, the diaphragm call. Read in your mouth, stick it in the roof of your mouth, hands free, wonderful. If you can learn how to use them and get the correct tone and know what you're doing with a diaphragm call, I would say that's probably going to be your #1 go-to. All the rest of them you can use, to locate or get the birds coming in. But once they actually get on you to where you need to be getting ready for the shot, especially with the turkey where you want to eliminate your movement, you're going to want something that's hands-free, and that Diaphragm Call is absolutely what will get you there. Alright guys, talked a lot about all the different gear, you know, I'm not going to get into camo, you know, boots, stuff like that, but something else, obviously, you're going to need your weapon of choice. Now, this is a Mossberg 935, I think it shoots great, semi-auto, just in case. If you had 2 tags, that'd be great. You use it for a lot of other things, of course, not just turkeys, but it's got a real nice action to it. It's 3.5 inch, there's a bird gun, and that's what I'm going to use. Now, I do have a crossbow. I have a Parker Extreme Centerfire, or excuse me, a Parker Centerfire Extreme crossbow that I plan on using at some point, and I also have my Matthews Z7 Extreme, which I actually have harvested turkeys with, and there's a couple videos of it on my YouTube. But that's all preference, you know. It depends what you're doing. If you're running and gunning, I would say that this is absolutely your thing. However, if you have a ground blind set up, you know, and you're going to have a good decoy set put out and everything, then maybe try it with a bow, you know. That'd be something great. That's what I'm going to end up doing. I don't know if I'll get to it this year because I'm probably going to be short. Looks like I'm only going to have 2 days to get it done total, so just that short little weekend. So I think it'll be me and the Mossberg getting out there and getting after him this year, but hopefully in the future, you know, and of course in the fall, I do fall turkey hunt with my bows, so we'll see what it brings. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys, and let me know what you think. All of the gear that I just showed you, set aside from like maybe the firearm here, is going to be in the links in the description, and I'm going to go down in the order that I put them in the video. There are links there that you can click on and order directly from Amazon from those links. And yes, if you do, of course, I am Amazon associate, so I do get a little bit of a kickback from that, so it would help me out if you do that as well. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share this video.